Welcome back, hard forkers, and a very warm welcome to Baloo the Bear. Good to see you again, mate. It's been a while.
It's been a long while. I'm glad to be back on the show. Glad to see that we're still rocking and rolling.
Yeah, look, we've started to put some content out for the community lately explaining the absence and what's going on. We'll talk a bit more in detail about that in the second part of this show. The fact we're now a legal DAO and we want as many of you involved as possible. So we'll cover that shortly. But Baloo, these markets, it's got very interesting again. I exited most of my positions back in November, but I've been making some trades lately. I'll talk the audience through what those are and why shortly, but I'll hand it over to you now to have a look. What are the charts telling us? What's going on?
Sure. Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen here. So yeah, we're waiting to reverse the trend. So Bitcoin has been in a very strong downtrend for a while, like relentlessly strong downtrend, not really forming much of a structure to form significant swing highs, nor really printing any swing lows, which is a very difficult trading environment to be in because it doesn't give you enough information of a trend until it kind of rips you down too far. So it is what it is, but we do have kind of a change of behavior, a change of character at this pivot right here, where we're beginning to kind of trend to the upside inside of this little channel that we've decided to print here. Now, that is not typically enough for me to think that we're over with this downtrend, which is kind of, why there's a lot of confusion and uncertainty in the markets, and why on Monday crypto Twitter can be bearish, and on Tuesday it can be completely bullish. So, a lot of confusion out there, and rightly so, because we're range bound. We're range bound in the context of a downtrend. So basically what I'm looking for is there's kind of two levels. So I'm going to paint this one green. This is 45.8 on my FTX chart, or no, this is the index chart. And then I've got this level right down here, and that's 34.9. We'll call it 35 and 46. As long as we are inside of this range,
Yep,
we're chopping. We're chopping in the context of a downtrend. So my conviction would be leading me from a technical point of view to take a look at some lower levels. Now, my bias, my bullish bias, is that we do kind of print a floor here. We're kind of seeing some pretty intense accumulation on chain. We are seeing adoption of Lightning Network go pretty much, very consistent. There's a lot of fundamentally bullish things that we could point to, but me being a technical trader, I do need to kind of surrender to the fact that as long as we're kind of sideways here and below 46, I'm not full bore. I'm not fully ready to commit to long-term hodl positions. I'm not fully committed to long-term altcoin positions either. I'm just a little bit more willing to cut the trades that are in profit until we can get some of those indicators that would show that we're ready for a large, expansive point in the market cycle, and that'll come at above 46,000.
Yeah. Look, I mean that's the technical side of things. Just quickly on the fundamentals, we've obviously had a plethora of events of news. Probably for me the most important. I really see the Bitcoin and blockchain space now becoming a geopolitical weapon of mass destruction. We've seen the sanctioning of the world's ninth largest economy. And this is all sort of, for me, it's coincided with a lot of chatter. We had the situation in the EU where they voted on banning proof of work. 9% of all Bitcoin mining happens in Europe. So that really would have been a major problem for the space had that gone through. I believe the vote only passed by, I think it was about a 20% majority. I think 32 to 24 or something along those lines. But ultimately positive that didn't happen. In line with that, I think we potentially going to see this Bitcoin bond out of El Salvador finally happen next week. Is my gut feeling. And lastly, from a fundamental point of view, as I say, this ties in to the fact that Western economies now, when I say West, that includes most of Asia, Oceania. We've had a crypto-friendly president elected in South Korea, a huge crypto market that's extremely positive news. And I really do see a change in the narrative, if you will, around US politics and their understanding of the space. I'm covering that in a video tomorrow, so we won't go too much in depth. But yeah, from a fundamental point of view, would you agree maybe we're still seeing Bitcoin as a risk-on asset, primarily traded as a tech stock? For me, the long-term play here, and this is why I'm kind of dollar cost averaging in, maybe more so than trading Bitcoin at the moment. I'm extremely bullish. I do agree with you. Technically, it looks like we may be going down, but long-term for me, the fundamentals have just got a hell of a lot stronger in the last couple of weeks. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, without a doubt. We can never really predict the markets. We can look at technicals to give us ideas from a trading perspective, but the macro zoomed out approach of crypto is bullish. I am so bullish on this market from a fundamental point of view, and just at kind of like an unstoppable point
Yep.
of view. I really don't see, we can talk about government intervention, we can talk about regulation and restriction. Those will be blips. Those will be blips on the roadmap to adoption. This is really powerful tech. It's not going anywhere. It can't be stopped. Any nation that does try to kind of restrict access, in my opinion, would honestly just be robbing their citizens of opportunity in an innovative space. So
Yep.
it would be shooting themselves in the foot to kind of regulate this thing in an incorrect way, because you can't get consensus globally. So there's always going to be countries that adopt, and there's going to be countries that try to restrict. The ones that restrict are really going to hurt themselves, economically speaking. Technicals, it's always the short to mid-term that we're looking to for our trades and our setups. But macro, I'm a hodler. I stack sats. I recommend that other people stack sats and have an account that you really don't have an emotional attachment to. So small amounts frequently for, ever is kind of a good approach to go with that. But for the trades, I'm waiting for some confirmation to see that we're ready to go into kind of a nice expansive altcoin season, as it were.
Yeah, I think the alts are probably more so tied to the equity markets, to to a risk on situation, and I think the better macro economists out there are not really recommending going into equities at the moment. So how our next alt season plays out and when that'll happen is yet to be seen. But for me personally, I'm just looking at quality right now. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and actually one that you flagged for me a while back, looks rare. Managed to pick
That one's been doing well in the local range.
Yep.
So if you scoop that up under $1, kudos, you're almost at a double by now.
I did.
Yeah,
that was a nice one. Thank you very much for that, sir.
No worries.
Okay, so look, another interesting fact is that we're in a situation at the moment where the amount of Ethereum sitting on exchanges is at its lowest point since 2018. So there's obviously a bit of hype around the coming merge, or merge light, as I probably think is more appropriate. That's in June. So clearly people are holding, and with hopes that goes well. So look, there's just so much happening in this space in the coming months and years. It's great to be back. One of the reasons we did step back was to get our legal DAO in place, really have a think about the type of content that's going to add value to our audience and have a point of difference. So I'd encourage you to follow what we're up to in the coming weeks and get over to the website where that's all detailed. But we've got an ETH chart up there. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so we are seeing, at least in the local range, we're seeing a little bit more bullishness come to the altcoins as Bitcoin is kind of chopping around. So I'll just briefly go back over to Bitcoin and kind of show the structure that we're looking at here, because they are kind of similar. And just to reduce distraction, I'll get rid of those two, bull market, bear market lines here. But we have this series of lower lows here. with kind of this trend line that I've drawn in white that is kind of what I want to see for Bitcoin to kind of break out. And Ethereum has the same structure, and we broke out. We broke out and we're now back testing on top of that. So as long as we can hold on top of this level and begin to take out some of these local highs at around $3,000, I think that we could see an altcoin rally in the short term. For me, it would be a low conviction rally. So like I said at the beginning of the show, I would be taking profits at kind of the first signs of weakness. But as it stands right now, it's a very positive sign to show sentiment shifting, at least in the retail space, towards the attitude towards altcoins. And, the liquidity crunch that we're experiencing on exchanges in regards to Ethereum would just add to the ability for us to really move the price of Ethereum. So a lot of people think that price is decided by the amount of money going into something. And it's not at all. The price, like I can change the price of Ethereum $10 with $1 if the order book has enough of a spread, and then it doesn't take much to change the price of something. It has to go through the order book. And when you have a lot of coins that are off the exchange, you don't have orders on the order book. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, because you can move price easily. And there's two ways to move the price, up and down. So you can crash it and you can moon it as it were. But if we do see bullish sentiment continue with the altcoins, and we do see price advance with Ethereum, it's really going to trigger some sort of event that could likely see a pretty fast move in the price of Ethereum to the upside.
Yep. Yeah, okay. So obviously this show's primarily about trading. I'm looking forward to having you on our little island in the very near future.
Yes,
we won't be two pictures on a screen in the future, people. So we'll endeavor to make some content that's a little more exciting and take you out and about and show you some of the sights and sounds, some of the other people in the crypto space here. I'm also looking forward to making some more content with Baloo that is outside of just the trading space. I think he's got a lot to offer on that front. You arrive here, about a week and a half now? Not too far away at all.
10 days.
Awesome. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
I'm very excited. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So before we just let the audience know some of the other things that are coming up with what we're doing together with hard forking and individual projects, do you have any other sort of charts of note that you'd like to point out to the audience?
Yeah, so I can take a look at a few things here. Now, in these types of conditions, I really want to go where there's volume. So I'll often employ the use of a crypto screener. And what I screen for is just volume, activity. When we don't have new money coming in, you need to know where the old money is trading. So I stick to my crypto screener, and one that's kind of popping up is Avalanche. Avalanche is a really strong layer 2, and it's kind of leading structure-wise. It's outperforming Ethereum. So if Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, Avalanche is actually outperforming Ethereum. So, you want to kind of follow these leaders, or at least make note of these leaders. We do have a bullish signal coming in on our custom alphanumerics indicator as well, further giving us confluence and confidence for this momentum shift. And we are taking out some of these highs that Ethereum has not quite taken out yet. So definitely keeping a close eye on Avalanche for a potential entry on this one. But again, everything that I'm taking right now. So, if you are watching and you're not the type to be aggressive with selling, wait for some firmer confirmations to come from Bitcoin before you start allocating your portfolio. But if you are a trader that is kind of a little bit more willing to, close positions as soon as you see signs of a reversal, then, there's definitely some trades out there. So, yeah. Is Avalanche on Bybit?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah. Anyways,
I've been waiting for you to arrive here and to really get back into some trading. Maybe we can do some live trades together when you're here. But for me, the last few months have been taking that macro view of the space, really understanding where I think it's going. From a global economic perspective, geopolitical and regulatory. So it's been a lot of work, and really what you've been helping us with is to review a lot of the different platforms out there. We're also going to be making some content, really digging into the different sectors that are available in the blockchain space, almost starting from square one. It's easy for people like us to assume that the audience understands everything we're talking about, but things have changed so much and so fast that we've overhauled everything, a brand new website. And on that note, something that we'll be doing some in-depth videos on DAOs. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we're now a legal DAO. So basically what that means is we want as many of you involved in this with us. We can reward you both in payments and stable coins, but also in actual equity of the company for your efforts. And we've got a ton of roles we're looking to hire. They'll all be listed on the website, linked to that below. But Baloo, DAOs are something we've discussed many times. Some fascinating stats on that. The amount in treasuries is up 40x in the last year, from 400 million to 16 billion. And the amount of participants is 130x from 13,000 people at the start of last year to 1.6 million. So, look, it is a business model that I think is amazing. There's sort of maybe 3 different types of DAOs. As I say, ours is a legal DAO, a smart company. Just in closing, what I know you're up to something very interesting in that space that we'll maybe talk about in our next video. But what's your sort of thoughts on that overall sector of the blockchain space, DAOs?
I think that crypto is something that's constantly evolving, and there's 16,000 cryptos today. They're not going to be around tomorrow. So as we figure out ways to provide value to the end user in the terms of like my investment grows, we've tried a few things. Governance tokens, they don't work. They work in theory for voting and their utility. Like, they work for the purposes that they were built for, but they do not work as an investment long term. So, we're kind of trying different things. And I think as we continue to try these new things, we start to go back to what it means to own an equity, a share of stock, owning a slice of a company. And what a DAO is it's basically a crypto company that everybody can contribute to. So imagine, if you're an individual who holds shares in Facebook, imagine that when you post on Facebook or you're providing value on Facebook, you're rewarded in shares. So I think it's kind of this new world where we're creating this new type of company where the shareholders aren't just invested in the future of the company in terms of providing profits for them. They're actually invested with sweat equity and wanting to contribute to these companies in a way where their efforts are directly correlated to their stake and share in the company. And DAOs are how we do that. DAOs are the structure that we have in order to achieve those very innovative and out there and never before seen goals. So we're going to see a big shift in crypto. As we always do, we always see these large shifts. It's very hard to be a hodler of an altcoin in this space because we see such dramatic shifts so often. But yeah, DAOs, they're a big deal. We're going to start to see a lot more offerings with a wide variety because, like you said, there's about 3 different DAO structures right now. There's the potential to run every single company as a DAO. So there's many different ways that we can organize in a decentralized way. Yeah, and I can't wait to see what people figure out.
Yeah, we look forward to onboarding as many of you into hard forking. Our structure, literally, one of the great innovations here is that the cost and time, even as you say, you use that Facebook example of somebody was sharing this content, we can track your actions. We're calling our token the Forky at the moment. So let us know whether you think
the Forky.
I like a good name or not.
That's meme worthy. We can steal some stuff from Toy Story for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, we can issue the token. It will sit in your MetaMask for literally the cost of a couple of bucks, which we'll be covering. That's a great innovation as opposed to what can often take up to a month and cost hundreds, if not
Yeah.
thousands of dollars to issue shares in companies. So, just as we were kind of one of the first outfits to bring Play to Earn to our community, we think we are pretty much, to the best of my knowledge, the first crypto media company to be doing this as well. So I do once again apologize for the little break we've taken to get much of this in place, but we're ready to roll now. We'll be also putting out some content specifically for our Play to Earn community in the coming days as well. We're working on the functionality on the website now to help upgrade your teams. And Baloo, it's obviously a topic I want to have more of a chat with you on, the Play to Earn space where you see it's going. But we did say we'd attempt to keep the show short and sweet. So I'll let you close it out with any sort of final thoughts or charts.
For charts, honestly, just keep an eye on the Bitcoin chart. Pick your side. I don't want to get too into the specifics because, the life span of these types of videos is quite short, especially in the current conditions. Yep. So I'm not going to hammer away on too many charts. I've shared a few that are of interest that kind of mark the health of the market. And that's basically what I'm looking for. I'm not trading too aggressively right now. I'm just monitoring the health and waiting for those confirmations to come in, specifically on Bitcoin. When we get that break above 46, it's going to likely be go time for crypto again, and we can prove that we have found a floor. So that's my main priority right now as far as the charts.
Absolutely. Okay, look, it's fantastic to be back in business, making some content with you, and especially the fact we're actually going to be able to do it in person in just over a week. So yeah, community, we are back. Do us a favor and give it a like and a share. Obviously, the fact we haven't been posting for a while, Google does sort of down rank you, so to speak. So your help there would be greatly appreciated. And as always, please go check out Baloo's content. We're going to attempt to lure him over to hard forking as much as possible. But links to his channels are below. Also, show him some support. Mate, great to be back in the swing of things with you. And we'll be doing this on the regular. Thanks very much, and thank you.
Always a pleasure.
See you again very shortly. Cheers now.